All right, today we're gonna make some Italian bread, and here we have 5 cups of flour. Use bread flour, that's recommended. I have a little mixture of 2 cups of organic wheat flour in this one. I'm doing something a little different. I have 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 1/4 teaspoons of activated yeast, same as a packet measurements. We got some cornmeal here, sesame seeds, and we got some butter. And what we're gonna do is add some water to get our yeast activated. What we're gonna do is gonna add a temperature between 105 and 110. You don't want to go over 110. You will kill your yeast, and you would have to start over. So I recommend going about 106, 107 degrees. So we'll get a cup of warm water around that temperature, and we'll start our yeast. All right, we're gonna pour a cup of water here, about a cup of water, and we're gonna add our yeast. We're gonna add our yeast to it. We said that's 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. We'll get that on. We're also gonna add some sugar to it too. It's about a tablespoon. Just dump that right in there, and that helps feed the yeast.
You see popping already.
This is gonna foam up, hopefully. I know mine's good, but we're gonna let that sit for 10 minutes, then we'll come back. To the 5 pounds of flour, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of salt. Make sure it's sea salt. And Evan's gonna mix that in, the whisk. Mix that all around good. Okay, now we're gonna start using our hand. We're gonna add the butter in here. We got about a half a stick of butter. Squish that all around your hands and mush that all around. Really get it into the flour, spread it around. We're nice and easy. You want the flour to stay in the bowl. Altogether, we're going to be using 2 cups of water for the ingredients. And we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Keep mixing, just keep going in there. I'm going to add the rest of the water gradually. It's going to get sticky. I'm going to keep it close and move it around. Get that dough nice incorporated in there. Also, we're going to need 1 egg. You can let that sit out now. We're going to use that for an egg wash to have the sesame seed and the cornmeal stick to the bread. As you can see, the yeast is starting to foam up before your very eyes. The bubbles are going. That means they're feeding and it's alive. The bubbles they're farting. That's what they're doing, huh? All right, let's add this. We got our little hands today, our helpers. We're making 2 Italian loaves. Brad will pour that in there, and he's going to mix that all in there well till it's well kneaded. And you need this anywhere from, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Just push down. Push down. You just don't want to like squash it. You get it all nice and incorporated. It's going to get sticky. It's going to stick to his hand, but it's fun. It's good exercise, creating something that's very tasty and it's homemade. So, we'll do this for about 10-15 minutes and we'll come back. Alright, we've been kneading this dough for about 15 minutes and we're getting like that see-through effect without it ripping too bad. So this is about good. It got all the flour and water on the sides. So we're gonna coat this with some olive oil in the bowl. I'm gonna sprinkle a little on. Sprinkle a little on there, please. That's good for now. That's good. I'm just gonna coat the bowl. Coat the dough, coat the bowl. And we're gonna cover this with some, a little more on the top of that. Good. Keep this drying out. We're gonna cover it with some plastic wrap. All right, we got some plastic wrap here. We're gonna put a light coating spray on it. Hold it up a little higher. And we're gonna flip this around and just lay it down, get that air out, because we don't want this to dry up. And I'm gonna lay a towel over this too, and keep it in a warm place for 1 hour. So we're gonna let that keep it in a warm place. What I like to do, I have an oven that's off. I'll put it in there with the oven light on. If you don't have an oven light, don't worry about it. Just put it in there for an hour. And depending on your house, if it's not risen like twice the size, leave it there a little longer. Leave it there for an hour and a half, depending on how cold or warm it is in your environment. All right, we'll be back. Okay, it's been 1 hour. We're gonna lift this off the towel very carefully. And look at that. Doubled in size. She risen nicely. I'll take this plastic that we sprayed. And what we're gonna do is lightly flour the surface of the table. You don't want too much flour, just lightly. I'm gonna flour our hands a little. Put that up there. And there. This side. Stretch her a little bit. Fold her in. Stretch a little and fold. Stretch. Fold. Stretch. Very lightly. And we're going to cut this down the middle over here. We're going to flour our hands. We're going to flour this. If you have a bread scraper or a large knife. And we're going to divide this right in half. So if we're going to cut that good right in half, right in the center, because we want to make it even. Press down. Pick up. Press down again. The line good. And if it's not perfect, hey, pretty close. Anything. So then we're going to form our loaves. We're not going to mess with it too much. We're going to roll it, and we're going to put it on a baking pan. I'm using parchment paper with a little flour and cornmeal on it. So let's roll this a little bit. Flour our hands in there. I'm trying to get a nice as possible loaf as we can. So what we need now is one of those trays over there. I'm gonna gently put this up on it, just slide it on one of the trays. Yeah, hold that nice, hold it, and put this on. And what we're gonna do is look at it as best we can, and we're gonna cover it up with cloth. Let that sit for a half an hour, and we're going to do the same with the next one. All right, it's been about a half an hour, and it has risen some more. Try to shape it a little bit, and what we want to do is score it. Now, there's a couple ways you could do it. You can use a razor blade or a real sharp knife. I find it easy just to use a pair of scissors that has been washed and cleaned, also with our hands before we start it, and in between we're constantly washing our hands. Very, very good. So we want to put a couple marks in here, and it's like I said, where it doesn't blow out. So we're gonna do about 5 of them, like 5 cuts. We don't go too deep either. About a ½ inch. 1, 2. I'm gonna go a little longer on the bigger ones. And if it's like you can't get across this that. Not that hard. You want to keep the dough. You don't want to wreck it too bad. And it's great to do with a family member. Keeps them busy, keep them active, especially at this day and age and this time. So we're gonna lift this one. Let's see how yours did over there. Look at that, it's beautiful too. All right. Shape it just a little bit there. You don't want to shape it too much. You want to keep that gas in there. Meanwhile, your oven should be heating up to about 420. Usually preheat it for at least 40 minutes to an hour. Get that heat radiating in there. Keep the stone in there, throw it in there. If not, you can always turn a baking sheet upside down and we're going to cook it that way. So alright, we're going to try to do the same thing with the scissors. Be very careful, straight, about a 1/2 inch. Open the scissors wide. Go ahead, there you go. Nice and easy. You don't want to stab the bread. Very good. Like I said, a nice design. We'll put one more down there. The next step is we're going to coat them in an egg wash. And how I like to crack an egg is on a flat surface. And we'll turn it upside down. And all we want is the egg white. That's all we're going to do in this one. We're going to rock this one back and forth and let that egg white drip into the bottom of the bowl. Just take patience. There, we got mostly all the egg whites, so we're done with that. Put that aside. You can use that for something else. Or whatever. And we're going to add about a tablespoon of water to that. Okay, we got a tablespoon of water and we're going to beat that. Mix it in there really good. For at least about 30 seconds. And we can have our helpers beat this too. Let's keep it in the bowl, nice and easy. Nice and easy, just like peasy. Keep it moving, keep it flowing. Keep it moving, keep it flowing. Alright, what you're doing is a stir. We want to mix that like that. We want to shake it up. Have the party going. And what we'll do is brush it on. Generously. Very lightly. You don't want to press down too much in the dough. You don't want to deflate it. We're going to keep it as nice as possible. And once we got a nice coating on there, you want to make sure you're getting the cracks really good too. Give it a nice light brown. You could use the whole egg. It'll be a darker color, a darker browning. Depends on your preference. But somebody wants to make tomato sandwiches, so that's what we're planning on doing. And it doesn't take that long. Okay, you want to give yours a nice coating. Very, very light. You don't want to press down too much on the bread. But you want a coating on there because we're going to coat ours with some sesame seed and very light. Put a little more, you're pressing a little too hard. You want to go light. Just very, very light. Give us some more wash. Very light coating, like you're barely touching the dough. There you go, get the other side of the brush, put some more on there. Got plenty on there, so use the white. Just a little more. Very lightly. Get the whole sides and everything, get the cracks really good now. Don't jab it too much because you're closing them up. Put some more egg wash in there. We're going to get that egg wash in there this way. Your seeds or your cornmeal will stick. Alright. Put this there. We're going to shape it that way. And put that down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some sesame seed on this one. So with the egg, everything should stick nicely. And just sprinkle it on as much as you desire. which one would you prefer on the other one over here, the cornmeal or the seeds?
What do you corn?
All right, sprinkle it on evenly. You go a little higher and sprinkle it on evenly. And we're going to try to get this onto a, that's good. We're going to try to get this onto a upside down baking sheet with a little cornmeal on it. This side and put on this. Keep the other one covered, put it on a time in the oven. Put a little more cornmeal on an upside down baking sheet. And we're going to try to get this from here to there. So, put a little flour on my hands. I'm going to try to get under this and carefully try to get it onto the board there. Get a little shape. A little more. Down. What I want to do is have this slide as much as possible right into the oven. Keep it moving, keep it flowing. Stitch that way, that's the way we're going to go right into it. Alright, we're going to put this into a 420-degree oven. Let's see if it's slide right onto that pizza stove. There we go.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. And just leave it go. It'll rise up a little. I like to put a little steam in there. Do not hit any glass. That'll help the bread rise. And time it for about 40 minutes and check on it. Alright, it's been about 40 minutes. Just check on our bread. Let's see if we get a nice tap at the bottom. We'll do this quickly. Now leave it in a couple more minutes and we'll check it back. Check back. Alright, we gave it another 10 minutes. We're going to check on this loaf. God, it looks beautiful. Listen to that. That's what we're looking for. Alright, we'll let that sit for an hour before we cut into it. Give the oven like another 15 minutes and we'll put the other loaf in. Okay, we got the bread out. And like I said, you can use this bread for like a lot of sandwiches and stuff. We got some tomato sandwiches here from the garden and everything. You can make peanut butter jelly, whatever. But always have an adult with you when you're putting the stuff in and out of the oven. You got to be over 21. So but the kids can help you with the tomatoes and you know, mixing the dough. But it's a nice family thing and keep everybody busy. All right, enjoy.